Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Jade Buford, the driver of the number 48 Chevrolet for Big Machine Racing. How's it going, my man?
That's pretty good. Looking forward to an exciting weekend here in Charlotte. We're coming off a great weekend for the team in Austin, Texas, after COTA. So looking forward to keeping it all going. See if we can have a good finish here heading into Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, this is of course a brand new team, big time finish. Of course, you have experience on the road course from your years of participating in IMSA. But what was it like to get this big finish for this team down in COTA?
You know, it was good. It was a great points day. Car came home in one piece, and we ran strong. We're not as well as we could have been. We were more set up for the rain after qualifying. So we struggled a little bit setup wise, but as a team, we executed very well, and we probably did the best we could that day. On days going forward, I expect us to be even better on the road courses.
So kind of going into this weekend at Charlotte, I know that's a track that you haven't been to yet. What's it like trying to go to a place where you haven't been to? But the good news is you're going to get some practice.
Well, that is the good news. The fact that we get practice, that should help speed up my learning curve. And that's what we've been dealing with on a every weekend basis. Every one of these ovals has been a new experience for me. And we have to learn it all within the race, learn how to drive the track, learn how to race the track. And we kind of go stage one, learn the track. Stage two, learn how to race. Stage three, we go racing. Here, hopefully with practice and qualifying, that will get sped up a little bit. What I look for as a driver is anytime I can get a few clean laps where I'm not being interfered with by anybody else, then that's when I can learn the quickest. So with practice being open, hopefully that speeds that whole process up, and I won't be thinking, how deep can I go into this corner before I have to breathe and brush the brake? I will already know that, and that hopefully will allow us to start racing earlier on in the race.
So kind of going into, you got some road courses coming up at Mid-Ohio, of course, places you're very familiar with. Kind of going in, we're going to see some road courses, usually Indy Road Course, of course, the Roval later in the year, and then Road America. It's a favorable part of the schedule for you, and plus a big race in a few weeks in Nashville, of course, where Big Machine is located.
Yep. It's going to be an exciting summer with all the road courses heading back to Nashville. The whole town is like buzzing with, it's like every week I'm like, oh, I mention racing, and somebody's like, oh, there's IndyCar, there's NASCAR coming. It's all coming back to Nashville, and I'm very excited for the city. It's going to be a great year, and I think it's going to be great for every series that goes there. Nashville is a great town, and racing should be a part of Nashville.
Yeah, of course, the ARCA East Series was already there earlier this year at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Coming into Charlotte, what's the most difficult thing about getting around there, you think?
One, it's fast. It reminds me a lot of Las Vegas, but it's bumpier. So you got to be able to adapt to that, which will have some similarities to Atlanta. I imagine it's running it from the sim. It reminds me the most between like across from Atlanta to Las Vegas, but we'll also have PJ1 here. So being able to read that and knowing when that's going to come in and be a factor, I think it's going to add a lot of interesting challenges that will be different from everything else that I've experienced. But I've done my prep, and hopefully with what we've seen in the past, hopefully it translates and we can have a good result here on Saturday.
How are you getting used to these Xfinity cars?
They are challenging. Everybody that asks me from sports cars are like, what is it like to drive? Like, I want to drive one of those. And like, what's it like to drive? And I'm like, whoa, pump your brakes. I'm like, know what you're getting yourself into. I'm like, especially on road courses, they're monsters. They're the hardest thing I have ever driven, but that's what's so great about them. It's the challenge. You have to be efficient on the brakes. You have to be smooth on the throttle. Everything that I teach when I do driver coaching is magnified like by 1,000 when you hop in one of these Xfinity cars. And same thing with on the ovals. Any little mistake on the oval, it's magnified. It's not like you go on a road course where you like, oh, I got a little bit of understeer. You get an understeer at 180 miles per hour. You're like, I hope nobody's above me 3-car widths, because that's where I'm going. It's pretty eye-opening when you experience it for the first time and you're doing it at 180 plus miles per hour.
Yeah. So how are you improving on the ovals so far? You've raced on a lot of them. How are you, and I know your crew chief Patrick Donahue are really working on trying to improve this team, because this is the first year for this team. So how are you improving on these ovals, and what's the biggest thing you still have to do on them?
Well, every weekend has its own challenges. Every oval we've gone to, I'm like, it's not like a cookie cutter. It's not like, oh, this will race just like Las Vegas. Oh, this will race just like Dover. Everyone has like something that throughout the race I have to work on being better at. What I have learned is that we can do it, and learn more about what we need from a setup standpoint in the car when it comes to driving the ovals, and what is going to translate to a better lap time and a better race car. And so that's something that I do feel like we're getting more comfortable with, my communication from myself to Patrick on making changes. Now we're starting to get better relation to what I'm saying and to what he's putting back into the car, and both of us kind of jiving and getting what we want out of it and what we need to do better on the weekend.
Going into Charlotte, what would you like to see out of the Big Machine team?
I would love to see our first top 15 on an oval. I know we can do it. We've been there before. We should have had it at Phoenix, which has probably been my favorite oval so far.
Yeah.
But I would love a top 15. If we do that, then I think we checked all our boxes and we executed a very well run race.
All right. Jade Buford, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck this weekend in Charlotte.
Thank you.